The last time you took your dog to the vet, you might have noticed something was off. The bill was a little higher. The appointment felt a little shorter. The doctor, your trusted vet, seemed a little more stressed. You brushed it off. Inflation, maybe. A busy day, perhaps. But what if it was something else? What if it was the result of a deliberate financial strategy executed in a boardroom 1,000 miles away by people who will never meet you or your dog? This strategy has a name. It's called private equity, and it's a ghost haunting the American economy, quietly buying up the world around you piece by piece. Private equity isn't like a normal company. They don't exist to make a product or provide a service for the long haul. They are professional house flippers, but for businesses. They find a company, your local doctor's office, a chain of vet clinics, the grocery store on the corner, and they buy it. But they don't buy it with their own money. That's the trick. They buy it with debt. Massive amounts of debt. This is called a leveraged buyout. Imagine you buy a $1 million house, but you only put down $30,000 of your own cash. You borrow the other $970,000 from a bank. Then you sign a contract that makes the house itself responsible for paying back that giant loan. It's insane. You would never do that. But in the world of high finance, it's standard practice. Once the private equity firm owns the company and has saddled it with this crushing debt, the clock starts ticking. They typically want to sell or exit in 3 to 5 years. To make a profit, they need to make the company look more valuable, fast. But they can't do that by investing in better equipment, or hiring more staff, or developing new products. The company has no money for that. It's too busy paying off the loan that was used to buy it. So they have to cut. Aggressively. They cut staff. They cut hours. They cut benefits. They sell off company assets, like real estate, the buildings and land the business owns, and then force the business to lease that same property back at high rates. They squeeze every last penny out of the company you once trusted, all while charging that company millions of dollars in management fees for the privilege of being dismantled. This isn't an accident. This is the playbook. Let's look at your doctor. You go to the emergency room with a broken arm. A few weeks later, you get 2 separate bills. One from the hospital, which you expected, and another, a shocking bill from a doctor you don't even remember meeting. This is called a surprise bill, and it is often the calling card of private equity. 2 firms in particular, Team Health and Envision Healthcare, were bought by private equity giants. Together, these 2 companies now staff the emergency rooms of roughly 1/3 of all hospitals in the United States. A landmark 2020 study showed that after a private equity firm took over a hospital's physician staffing, surprise out-of-network bills for patients skyrocketed. The doctors themselves are caught in the middle. They are pushed to see more patients in less time, to order more tests, to maximize billing, because a financial firm hundreds of miles away needs to hit its quarterly numbers. The goal is no longer just your health. The goal is extracting shareholder value. It's happening to your veterinarian, too. That feeling you had, that something was off, it's real. Massive corporations have been quietly buying up thousands of independent veterinary clinics. One company, Mars Incorporated, yes, the candy company, now owns over 2,500 vet clinics across North America under brands like VCA, Banfield, and Blue Pearl. Another jab holding company has also spent billions consolidating the market. When your friendly neighborhood vet sells to one of these giants, the pressure changes overnight. Suddenly there are targets, quotas, a new emphasis on upselling you on services, foods, and treatments you might not need. Your 15-year-old golden retriever isn't just a beloved family member anymore. On a spreadsheet in a corporate office, she is a recurring revenue stream. The vet is forced to become a salesperson, and the deep, personal trust that defined that relationship begins to erode. This model doesn't just make our lives more expensive and stressful. Sometimes It destroys everything. The most tragic ghost story of this financial machine is a name we all remember: Toys R Us. In 2005, two private equity firms and a real estate company bought Toys R Us. They loaded it with an astonishing $6.6 billion in debt. For the next decade, Toys R Us was forced to pay nearly $400 million every single year, just in interest payments on that debt. $400 million. That was money it couldn't use to update its stores. It was money it couldn't use to build a website to compete with Amazon. It was money it couldn't use to pay its employees a better wage. The company was suffocating. It was being bled dry, not by bad sales, not by a lack of customers, but by the debt that its owners had forced upon it. In 2017, the inevitable happened. Toys R Us declared bankruptcy. All 735 stores in the United States closed. 30,000 people lost their jobs, their livelihoods, their futures. Vanished. The private equity firms that orchestrated this? By the time the company collapsed, they had already collected more than $470 million in fees. They walked away. The workers got nothing. This is the quiet killing. It's not a dramatic collapse you see on the news every night. It's a slow, creeping rot. It's the death of 1,000 cuts. It's happening in nursing homes where staffing levels are cut to the bone, leading to neglect. It's happening in mobile home parks, where new PE owners jack up the lot rents on retirees with fixed incomes. It's happening in the newspaper industry, in the grocery business, in the companies that fix your plumbing and pave your roads. Today, private equity firms manage over $8 trillion in assets. Their business model is to extract wealth, not create it. They pull money out of local communities, out of workers' paychecks, out of your wallet, and funnel it into the pockets of a tiny number of investors and executives. This is the financialization of everything. Your health, your pets, your home, your childhood memories, they have all been turned into assets on a balance sheet, to be leveraged, squeezed, and discarded. The world doesn't just feel more precarious and expensive, it is more precarious and expensive because of this. The resolution is not a happy one. It's the stark realization that the forces making your life harder are not random. They are the calculated result of a system designed to concentrate wealth by dismantling the very fabric of our communities. The higher vet bill, the surprise medical bill, the empty storefront on Main Street, they are all symptoms of the same disease. So what can you do? You start by seeing the ghost. You start by understanding the game. The next time you visit a doctor, ask if the practice is owned by a hospital or a corporation. When you're choosing a service, look for the truly independent local option, the one that's still owned by the person whose name is on the sign. Start asking questions. Awareness is the first step toward defense. Share this story, because this powerful financial machine thrives in the dark. The more people who understand how it works, the less power it has to quietly strip mine our world for profit.